Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Carolina Escalera. I am the Information Officer, the Communications Director here at the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo. We are very happy to have all of you. We have almost 100 participants, so this is great. We will be doing this both in English and Spanish. Lo vamos a hacer en inglés y español. So if there is please feel free to put your questions in the question and answer chat here, and we will be going over some of these questions. This is a session that we are going to be talking about our services for U.S. citizens here in the country. Today we have the Consul General, Bill Swaney, here with us today. Hello, Bill.
Good afternoon.
So we will, please put your questions in the question and answer session. Bill is going to do a brief presentation. We'll talk about some of these topics, and then we will go through that question and answer, be able to answer some of those live. But we also have with us today our American Citizen Services officers and the director of that as well. And so they will be answering some of those questions here also in the chat. So we'll do a little bit of both. So just to introduce Bill Swaney. Bill Swaney returned to the Dominican Republic in 2018, 2 decades after serving his first tour in Santo Domingo as Vice Consul. He is currently the Consul General in the Dominican Republic. His other assignments include serving as the Director of Passport Agency in Vermont, the Counselor Chief in Cameroon, and working on the Provincial Reconstruction Team in Afghanistan. Other overseas assignments have included the Netherlands and France, and he has held assignments in the International Organizations Bureau and the State Department Operations Center. He has a spouse and 3 sons, and they've enjoyed exploring the unbeatable hiking, biking, and swimming options in the mountains and the beaches of the Dominican Republic. Entonces, para decirlo un poco en español, Bill Swaney es el Cónsul General aquí en la República Dominicana. Él llegó en 2018, después de 2 décadas de servir su primer asignación aquí en Santo Domingo como vicecónsul. Él ha trabajado en varios lugares en Vermont, trabajando con la agencia de pasaportes, también en Camerún, Afganistán, Netherlands y Francia. Él ha trabajado también en varias posiciones en Washington, D.C. Él está aquí con su esposa y 3 hijos, que disfruta las montañas y las playas de República Dominicana. Así que, Bill, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Carolina. And first of all, I want to thank all of you for joining us here today. Would have preferred to do this in person, but your safety and well-being is the very top priority of the consular section and the U.S. Embassy. So I appreciate your understanding. I also take a moment to encourage you, as we'll discuss in this presentation, to take the time to exercise your right to vote. Buenas tardes, de nuevo, Bill Swaney, Consul General. Le agradezco su presencia y quiero destacar ante todo la importancia de su bienestar. Es nuestra prioridad principal y gracias por su entendimiento que no podemos hacer eso de manera más personal. Como ya mencionado, vamos a comenzar con una presentación breve sobre temas de interés. Luego puedo responder directamente a sus preguntas. Yo voy a responder en el idioma en que se pone la pregunta. Entonces, por favor, la primera página de la presentación, si se puede poner. Ok, gracias. Y otra vez, bienvenidos. Adelante. Entonces, como ustedes saben, ¿cierto? Es un año electoral y quiero acordarles que como ciudadanos, todo tiene el derecho a ejercer su derecho y deber de votar desde el extranjero. Hay 3 pasos sencillos que hay que tomar, como se explica brevemente en este dibujo. Primero, hay que inscribirse, registrarse con su estado de residencia y pedir su boleta de votación en ausencia. Luego, y quiero destacar que cuando usted pide su boleta de votación, nos aconsejamos que usted pide que se envíe eso de manera virtual, es decir, por correo electrónico o fax, para que se reciba esta boleta rápidamente y tiene tiempo para enviarlo al estado donde usted reside. Entonces, se puede ir al sitio web fvap.gov para buscar toda la información necesaria sobre cómo inscribirse en su estado y cómo pedir una boleta. Se puede hacerlo directo o por medio de una proceso que se llama FPCA, que es válida para cualquier estado o territorio de los Estados Unidos. Al momento de recibir su boleta, se puede llenarlo. Normalmente los estados envían estas boletas 45 días antes de la elección. Entonces, hay que llenarlo cuidadosamente, firmarlo y luego devolverlo. Se puede devolverlo por medio de correo internacional, de servicio profesional mensajería o a través de la urna que se encuentra frente a la embajada nuestra de 8 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde, el lunes a jueves. Por favor, si se usa la urna, ponlo en un sobre con el franqueo ya puesto o con el franqueo nacional de los Estados Unidos para que llegue al estado suyo. Próxima. Gracias. Importante aquí, eso explica más en detalle el sistema de votación por correo que se puede utilizar y por favor, nuestro consejo para tomar en consideración las demoras de hasta 4 semanas que se puede ocasionar es poner su boleta de votación en la urna o correo internacional, lo que sea, antes de las 6 de octubre. Adelante, por favor. Como ustedes ya saben, lamentablemente, debido a la COVID-19, no podemos ofrecer todos los servicios normales y estamos ofreciendo solamente servicios de emergencia, que incluye todo tipo de servicio a ciudadanos que se encuentran en dificultad. Para más información, eso es el sitio web de nuestra embajada que tiene toda información sobre los servicios que ya ofrecemos y que vamos a ofrecer en el futuro cuando tenemos las condiciones para abrir más servicios. Adelante, por favor. Un servicio nuevo que hemos comenzado a causa de la pandemia, que ojalá que se aprovechen de este servicio, es la oportunidad de renovar su pasaporte por correo. Eso es un servicio disponible para cada persona que tiene un pasaporte que fue emitido en los últimos 15 años y que tenía una validez de 10 años. Normalmente, el nombre debe ser lo mismo con el pasaporte anterior o si ha cambiado por motivo de matrimonio o otra cosa, tiene que incluir los documentos legales que pueden comprobar el cambio. Adelante, por favor. Entonces, esos son los detalles de lo que tiene que incluir en su solicitud de pasaporte por correo. De nuevo, se puede encontrar toda esa información en nuestro sitio web y es una buena oportunidad y siempre, sobre todo una isla que, donde se encuentran fenómenos atmosféricos y otros motivos de viajar de vez en cuando, de tener un pasaporte vigente. Entonces, si usted califica para renovación de pasaporte, por favor, considera este servicio de renovación de pasaportes. Adelante, por favor. También los servicios de inscripción, de hacer los reportes consulares de nacimiento en el extranjero son solamente para casos de emergencia. Es decir, si usted tiene un niño que ya no está inscrito, recién nacido, y tiene urgencia de viajar a los Estados Unidos, se puede contactarnos y hacer la solicitud. Ojalá que podamos ofrecer este servicio de nuevo a todos y cada uno de ustedes. Mientras tanto, se puede ir al sitio web para ver la lista de documentación oficial que se necesita para completar el proceso. Vamos a hacer toda la revisión de documentación de adelante por medio de correo electrónico. Entonces, se puede ayudarnos a ahorrar mucho tiempo si usted en estos momentos busca todos los documentos y están bien arreglados para el momento en que se puede hacer las solicitudes de nuevo. Adelante, por favor.
Bill, just a quick note. I don't know if you can maybe give a quick summary in English. I know there's lots of comments about people wanting to hear this information in English. I don't know if that's something we can.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want me to go back some slides or start.
Maybe would it make sense to finish to the end in Spanish and then I can do a quick English version?
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, we can keep
Perfect. Adelante, eso es donde se encuentra la información sobre las cribas. También los servicios notariales solo son para casos de emergencia. Esos son casos en que usted o su hijo está solicitando pasaporte en los Estados Unidos y usted tiene que llenar el formulario DS-3053. Un caso que tiene que ver con un tribunal en los Estados Unidos. Otra cosa que podría causar un daño financiero significativo. Puede venir a las 7 de la mañana sin cita para completar este proceso. Adelante. También tenemos aquí la unidad de beneficios federales que incluye seguro social, asuntos de veteranos y otros. Voy a destacar que la manera más fácil y eficaz de ponerse en contacto es por su correo electrónico indicado allá abajo, fbu.santo.domingo@ssa.gov. Gracias. También, si usted no está inscrito todavía en lo que se llama Smart Travel Enrollment Program, es un servicio de información en que se inscribe para recibir información actualizada de la embajada. Eso tiene que ver, por ejemplo, con los servicios que tenemos disponibles, también para avisos de emergencia, sea una demostración importante o un asunto meteorológico o votación. Todo tipo de información se va a enviar directamente a su correo. Adelante. Como he mencionado ya varias veces, es de suma importancia tener un plan de preparación. Eso varía según las situaciones distintas de cada familia. Sin embargo, debe tener suministros en su hogar como agua, alimentos, medicamentos, desinfectantes. No se olviden a las mascotas y sobre todo a tener los documentos de viaje listos y preparados para cualquier emergencia. Otro sitio web mencionado ahí abajo, www.ready.gov, tiene una gran cantidad de información en español y inglés sobre preparación de cualquier tipo de urgencia. Adelante. Otra vez, se recuerda que nuestro sitio web tiene toda esa información y más, y que lo vamos a actualizar al momento en que podemos ofrecer más servicios a ustedes y al público dominicano. Adelante, creo que ya. Okay, so one more time through. This briefly goes through the process that you as a U.S. citizen abroad will follow to execute your vote. The first step is, of course, to confirm or begin your registration with your state of residence. You can do that directly with the state, or you can we recommend that you go to www.fvap.gov. Once you're registered, you can request your ballot either directly through that state, or you can use the FPCA, Federal Postcard application, to request your ballot for any federal election. Once that request is received, that ballot will be sent to you. We strongly recommend that when you request your ballot from your state, either directly through that state or through the FPCA, that you use the option to receive your ballot electronically to speed the return of that ballot to your state of residence. Typically 45 days away from an election, states will send out those ballots. You need to obviously complete the ballot and make sure that it's signed and complete and correct. Then you will need to return that ballot to the state where you are registered. That can be done through international mail services, through courier services, or you can put your ballot in our voting collection urn outside the embassy. That is available from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. from Monday through Thursday. If you use that option, please make sure that the ballot is inside a postage paid envelope, or that you've included adequate postage to get it to the electoral authorities in your state. As you are no doubt well aware, we have been quite affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and further to protocols from our headquarters and the Centers for Disease Control, we have limited our operations to emergency services only. Those do include any service to American citizens who are in any kind of emergency, be it travel or medical or similar types of distress. We will continue to update our webpage, which we show again, do.usembassy.gov, as we are able to expand those services. One exciting thing that we have as a silver lining to the pandemic is that we were able to launch a renewal by passport service. This is available to anybody who has a passport that was issued in the last 15 years and had a validity of 10 years on it. If you change your name, you would need to please include the documentation showing that is a legal name change. Again, this is something that we strongly encourage people to maintain valid travel documents for any kind of emergency that might come up. So please go to our website and see if you qualify and can take advantage of this service to keep your passport current. Next. So these are the specific steps and documents that you include in that application package. It's pretty straightforward. It's exactly the same as the process in the United States, only a different courier service. Next. Like the passport and other services, visa services are services for registration of birth, report of consular birth abroad, are currently limited only to those individuals who have a need for urgent travel with that child to the United States. I will note that if you are looking forward to registering your child, I strongly encourage you to look at our website, click on the links and the checklist of documentation that you will need. They can be extensive, and your preparation ahead of time can really make the process much easier for everyone concerned. Next slide. It's the same. Similarly, our notarial services are limited to those related to emergencies. That is defined as those relating to a passport application that is pending in the United States, for which you need a parental authorization through Form DS 3053. Those that are linked to court cases in the United States that are pending, or matters that could have a significant financial impact on a citizen. You should come to the embassy at 7 in the morning with your documents ready to execute those. Next. As you may be aware, we also have what we call the Federal Benefits Unit that administers the benefits from Social Security, Veterans Affairs, and some other departments. The best way to reach them is to contact them by email at fbu.santo.domingo@ssa.gov. I really want to encourage you to enroll in the Smart Traveler enrollment program, both for your time that you may be spending or spend here in the Dominican Republic, and when you perhaps are traveling to other overseas destinations. Your completely confidential information allows us to be aware of your presence in the country and to push out to you by email information that we have about various matters. Those include things that are routine, like instructions on voting, but also include emergency information about hurricanes, about response to potential civil unrest, and other matters that are of interest to any traveler or resident wherever you might find yourself around the world. Next. As you well know, we're in hurricane season. I strongly encourage each of you to be mindful of that, to have a plan, to make sure that everybody in your family is aware of that plan, and to make preparations so that if we do have a hurricane or other crisis, that you have some basic essential supplies, including water, supplies of medicine, disinfectant, food. Don't forget your pets and their needs, as well as, of course, your travel documents. And please remember to check all of the documents for your family. It is not uncommon to have 4 valid passports and then somebody discover at an inopportune moment that one of the children's passports is expired. So again, we encourage you to consider those. There's a great amount of information that's available at the www.ready.gov website. I strongly encourage you to click through that and get some ideas on how you can be prepared and feel ready for hurricanes or any other kind of emergency that you might encounter. Next. Again, our website is our lifeline right now and contains all the information about the services that we have, preparations that we're making, and will be updated as we are able to expand our services to resume more normal operations as soon as conditions allow.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bill. I also, I just got the PowerPoint also in English, and we will also work on getting that on our website as well. So if people I know who are following, I'll put it up here while we're, they can also get that information also in English. So let me just share my screen really quick. Here we are. Perfect. So we have that information here as well. So we will share this information as well on our website under American Citizen Services. So if you were watching this and wanted to get some of that information. Perfect. Okay, so I will go to the questions now. We will start a question here. I have a question from Raquel. She's asking, how do I send my ballot to the US?
Okay, and she's asking in English?
Yes, in English. These
Okay.
questions, if it's in English, I will ask you in English. Yeah,
Perfect.
I think most of a lot of our participants have been in English. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So thank you for the question, Raquel. So you have a number of choices on how you can return your ballot. You can use international mail services like UPS or FedEx. You can use courier service, or you are most welcome to use the voting collection box that we have here at the embassy. To do that, you would drop it off between 8 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday, before the 6th of October. In that case, be sure that the ballot is put inside a postage paid envelope, or if you're using a standard envelope, that it has sufficient postage to get it to your the electoral authorities in your state. If you're not sure about that address or any kind of question related to how you vote, where your authority is, etc., fvap.gov has the information and the links to all of those, the 50 states plus territories and their electoral authorities, so that you can get their website, email, phone numbers, and resolve those questions promptly.
Perfect. We have a question here from Mike. How can I renew my American passport in Santo Domingo?
Great. Hopefully, Mike, your passport had, when it was last issued, had a validity of 10 years. That typically happens after you are 17 or older and you get your first what we call adult passports, and that passport is no more than 15 years old, which is to say it hasn't expired by more than 5 years. If that's the case, go to our website and you can get the exact instructions on what you need to collect. You pull that all together, make photocopies of it, bring it to Domec's office, send it to us, hold on to that receipt, of course, and in 2 to 3 weeks is about what our passport turnaround has been after we process that application. We'll be sending that back again by courier. If you do not qualify for that, If you have a emergency that you have an urgent need to get to the United States for a family emergency or other matter, you can contact us at sdoamericans@state.gov and come to make an emergency passport application. We hope to begin opening regular passport renewal operations for people who need interviews, which includes children, as soon as conditions will permit that.
Thank you. And now we have a question from Gregory Bronson. Again, he asks, my passport expires this year. Is that considered an emergency? Should I submit my application form DS-82 to start the process for renewal? Should the application be submitted online and then set up an appointment?
So again, if you qualify for a passport renewal by mail, and that can include passports that are not yet expired. In fact, that's the preferable time to renew your passport. I'm in the process of doing that myself actually right now because mine expired towards the beginning of 2021. You should use the renewal by mail option, assuming that you don't have any pending travel. Should you find, if you are worried, for example, that you've given up your current passport and you have an emergency, you would in those circumstances be able to come in and either retrieve your valid passport or get an emergency passport should that situation come up unexpectedly.
Okay, great. On notarials and cribbas, Bruni Frankenberg asks, I'm a US citizen presently living in the DR, and I have some documents that I need to be notarized. When are the notarial services going to be open again?
Again, I think we've all tried to learn to live with a degree of uncertainty in COVID. We do not have a date at which time we can project with any certainty that we would be able to begin offering non-emergency services, which would include the notarial services that we do hope to be able to return to a more normal operating status for our fellow citizens as soon as we can. If they do fall into the emergency category because it's related to a pending passport application, a court, or a significant financial matter, then you should come to the embassy at 7 a.m. And we'll take care of those emergencies as such.
Okay, great. We have a question from Lisa. She asks, if an American citizen has a baby here in the DR, but is married to a Dominican citizen, can that child be registered as a US citizen?
Absolutely. The laws that pertain to how a child obtains US citizenship can be somewhat complicated, but typically if one or both parents is a US citizen and have spent a significant amount of time in the United States, then that child will qualify for US citizenship, and they would be ones that we would document as having been born abroad.
Okay, thank you.
Again, our website can go into a little bit more detail about some of the particular situations when that may or may not apply. But in most cases, if you've been in the States for living as an adult, you will typically, any child born to you will normally be considered a citizen by birth abroad.
Perfect. Now on the issue of COVID-19, we've got a question here from Janice Fioron. She says, I only speak English, but I'm traveling from the US and would like to know the COVID-19 travel procedures. I'm assuming she's traveling from the US to the Dominican Republic. So she wants to know a little bit about.
Okay. So first I would note that on our website, well, first I would encourage you to enroll in the STEP program and to look at travel.state.gov, which gives a variety of information about our viewpoint on conditions in the Dominican Republic. At this point, due to the COVID situation, the DR, like many, many other countries around the world, is under what we call a level 4 advisory. That our advice is not to travel to the Dominican Republic at this time. Also, our embassy website, do.usembassy.gov, has detailed information about the COVID situation that we update regularly. At this point, in terms of the specific question that I believe I heard, in terms of entry requirements, there is not a requirement for a PCR or other COVID test. Our understanding is that the Dominican authorities are doing temperature as well as random COVID screenings at the airport and would, handle situations and provide medical assistance as necessary based on that screening.
Okay, great. We have a question here from LaQuanda on the same kind of topic. When is the embassy scheduled to open? Will the embassy open on October 1st when hotels open in the Dominican Republic, or on October 18th when the Dominican Republic is scheduled to reopen?
Again, there is nothing that I would love more than to have that date and to be able to provide those services. I, like all of my colleagues, joined the Foreign Service to serve. It's in the title. Our local staff feel the same level of frustration that the medical conditions do not allow us to offer the level of service that we would like. We have a independent and internal set of protocols. Again, these involve consultation with the Centers for Disease Control as well as our headquarters at the Department of State about when we are able to offer specific services. We look at this each and every day and are thinking about when we will be able and how we will be able to safely provide these services. Obviously, many of you have been to the consulate. You know that we typically deal with more than 1,000 people in and out in a day, and the social distancing complications of that operation are enormous. So those are things that factor into our ability to open and offer services. But again, the only thing I can do is assure you that we are doing our very best and will open as soon as we can do so safely and put that information immediately on our website and in social media to let people know that they can begin dealing with what we know has been a trying 6 months at this point when they cannot take care of important business with us.
Okay. We have a question about the federal benefits unit. There's someone needs to their disability check deposit into a local bank. Ridge One Way, I guess, but is his name. But can they be helped with that, or is that considered an emergency? I'm assuming this is about the federal benefits unit and the services offered through that.
I wouldn't presume to speak on behalf of my colleagues. Again, I would encourage you to contact them by email, fbu@santo.domingo@ssa.gov. They're working really hard from their homes to respond to those kinds of inquiries and get you taken care of as well as they possibly can.
Okay, great. And then in terms of, being able, it is hurricane season right now. We've got several hurricanes in the Atlantic swirling around. So how can people ensure that they, other than going to our website, seeing the information, but getting, any information directly from the embassy? How can they ensure that?
Good question. I'm glad that the Mano de Dios looks after this island, but I would encourage you to take two specific steps. One, I see up on the screen, is to enroll in the STEP program, which you see the URL for here. That will allow us to alert you as our weather forecasting. We work with NOAA, we work with USAID and others to keep careful track of the storms and allow us to let you know as those come forward. And again, the other one would be the National Hurricane Center. It's NOAA, NOAA.NHC. Their National Hurricane Center gives really great predictions that are a big part of, it's part of my daily routine, is to log on to NOAA anytime between, well, about July and November, just to check what things look like in the Eastern Atlantic.
Okay, great. I see that, let me just look through the questions really quick. I know that there's a lot of people asking, very specific questions about their specific case, whether it's, notarials or I see also that, there's some visa questions. I really do encourage everyone, there is an email here, sdoamericans@state.gov. Those more specific questions, there is a team, the American Citizen Service Unit is working. They will be able to provide an answer for those more specific questions that we may not be able to get into right now. But we do appreciate, the engagement. Just wanted to flag that because we have over 100 questions. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that there is an email address that you can send, and all, our website a lot of the times answers these questions, especially those how to and where do I find, those kind of questions you can find definitely on our website, do.usembassy.gov, and all that information is both in English and Spanish. Just to continue, there's a question from Kristen. She asks, thanks for doing this. I have a 10-year-old that needs a passport renewal and a new 4-month-old, and I would love to get a passport for. We were set to return home to Nebraska in June and obviously had to put that off. So I'm assuming they need a new passport and a passport renewal.
Right. So unfortunately, that's one of the situations that without a specific urgent plan for your return to the United States with those children, we're not able to bring enough staff safely into the embassy to do renewals and to do the registrations of birth at this time. As we hopefully will continue along a curve of improvement for local disease conditions, that is the next and most important service that we would offer after our very baseline emergency services that we now offer. So bringing those services back so that you can have those documents in hand is the next priority that we have. But again, unfortunately, I do not yet have a time frame when we'll be able to start opening those services and those appointments. To do that, we do intend to use the personnel resources, the folks that would normally be doing visa work, to address that backlog and manage the documentation so that our citizens can get documented as soon as we can begin those services.
Okay, and then those that qualify for renewal by mail, we have a question here from Joel Langolis. He asks, which postal service can they use to send the passport to the embassy for the renewal?
Excellent. So we have been working with Domex for some time, had very good experience with them, their coverage, and examined carefully the safety and security of doing this for something as sensitive as the U.S. passport. So that is the provider that we have partnered with for the passport renewal program.
Okay, and along those lines, Leticia Duarte asks, if she has to send in her documents to either process an emergency passport or a regular passport, how much time should she send that in anticipation for? So
if you are renewing by mail, it's taking an estimate of about 3 weeks from when we're able to process the application. We do our best to process applications received. So I would leave it at least a month for passport renewal by mail to account for processing time, transport time, and then the biggest delay, which is the time between when we complete the application here. We work with the passport printing facility in the United States, which has also been backlogged and facing its own challenges. And then they can get that back down to us. For emergencies, those we do sometimes same day, but we do it in to the best of our ability in a time frame that allows somebody to handle that emergency travel.
Okay. And then we've got 2 questions about the economic stimulus check, one from Jay Ruiz and one from Rafael Cruz. How can they find out if they qualify for that IRS economic impact payment checks, or how can they get more information on that?
I may ask my ACS colleagues to weigh in, maybe by chat. I know that there is detailed information on the IRS website about their process for making those determinations, and that in some cases checks may be here at the embassy for pickup, but I will ask them to please respond to that so that I don't misspeak with regard to those matters that I'm not as familiar with off the top of my head.
Okay.
Hi, Consul General. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm happy to speak to that. So we received a number of IRS checks for the economic stimulus payments and thousands of checks, and we sent out letters to everyone whose check is currently at the embassy. So if you received a letter, you should come to the embassy at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday to pick up your check. However, if you did not receive that letter, that means we did not yet receive your check here at the embassy. I know that the IRS is sending these out slowly to embassies around the world. And as soon as we receive your check, we will send you a letter. If you are concerned about this, you should actually go straight to the IRS and ask them, specifically at the irs.gov website, and ask where is your check currently. I hope that answers it.
Thank you. Our ACS chief, thank you. And now in terms, just to go back, had a lot of questions about passport renewals. In terms of emergency passports, Rose Terrero asks, what are the requirements for urgent travel? Anything other than travel itinerary is her question.
So this is obviously going to cover a significant range of circumstances. Typical emergencies are things like medical travel, somebody returning to a school in which they've been enrolled, death or medical emergency in the family, similar types of situations.
Okay, thank you. Great, and I think that we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll be just wrapping up. We've got a question here from, let me see, 1 second. Okay. Okay. There's a person that is traveling to another Puerto. Specifically, there was a question about traveling to Puerto Rico needing a COVID-19 test, and whether or not a U.S. citizen can get that test here if they don't have any symptoms. We do have a COVID-19 page that goes over all the local context. I don't know, Bill, if you have any more context on that, but we do have our website has all the information of where you can contact locally if in case you do have symptoms, or I don't know if you could expand on that.
Sure. I think I would refer you to the website for some of the details on testing, some of the various private labs, the Referencia, Amidita, the others that you'd have to consult with about the opportunity to get a COVID test. I would note that for anybody who might be traveling to the United States, while the U.S. government does not have any restrictions or conditions for U.S. citizens returning to the United States, or any Dominican with a proper visa, valid visa, entering the United States, different states, territories do have very specific requirements. So I strongly encourage you to look at whatever your destination is, to take in mind, keep in mind, many of them may require a quarantine of up to 14 days, may require a test, may have other restrictions that you should be aware of, and we certainly encourage and ask that you follow if you go forth with that travel. It's important to remain informed about the protocols that apply at every step along your voyage.
Okay, great. And just to conclude, the last question, and wanted to end on this topic of voting, just because the deadlines are really coming up soon in terms of when we'll be voting. So Eugenia Almonte asks, can we drop off registration ballots at the embassy, and what is the deadline? So just kind of wanted you to kind of make a little last plug, and then afterwards we'll have a message from the ambassador. Great.
Well, since it's my last words, I will again thank all of you, and thank you, Carolina, for participating today, for your curiosity, your good questions, and for your patience as we all get through this together. Again, we are really looking forward to expanding back to our normal menu of services. In terms of voting, please, we ask that you get, or highly recommend that you get your vote in to our collection box by the 6th of October. That box is available because we need to obviously take care of it and keep it under watch between 8 a.m. on Monday to 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Again, if that's the choice that you use to send it, please make sure that it's either in a postage paid envelope or that you've attached U.S. postage. We take care of the international portion of that, but it's essentially put into U.S. mail by us. So that's why we ask that you plan that far in advance to give it time to ensure that it arrives at your state and election authority. So again, thank you, and don't forget to vote.
Perfect. And with that, I think we want to please share a message from the ambassador that this is, this is a topic that's very important for her to get the message out to American citizens. Once that's done, I'll just do a few closing remarks, and we really appreciate everyone's time.
Every time we cast our vote, we celebrate democracy. Make sure your vote counts this November and in all local and federal elections by registering to vote through the Federal Voting Assistance Program, FVAP. The process is easy. Visit fvap.gov to register with your home state and request your ballot. Once you receive your ballot, complete and sign it. Most states allow you to return your ballot electronically. However, paper voting forms or ballots can be mailed directly, or see our website to learn how to drop it into the U.S. mail system here at the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo. Remember, it is imperative to pay attention to the embassy's and your state's deadlines if you plan to cast your vote by mail. Stay connected to your country and local communities by being an active participant in the elections. Remember, our democracy works if all of us vote. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for watching. I know the volume might have been off for some people, but the video will be on our social media pages. Everyone, I know that you all entered in an email address when you signed up, and so we will be able to see your emails. What we'll do is we'll email those presentations for those attendees today, and we will send that information out so that you have it with you in both languages, in English and Spanish. Again, thank you all for, I know we got a lot of questions. I really appreciate it. Again, we have SDO Americans at state.gov, and then we will be able to follow up on those specific cases that you all are asking on. So I think this was a really great for us to engage with you all, and I really appreciate everyone's time. Bill, thank you so much to our great ACS officers and chief that are on the line answering all those questions and doing this. I really appreciate it. I hope that we can do something like this again. It seems that we've gotten really great participation, so I really appreciate it. So thank you all very much for coming today, and have a great rest of the week.
Thanks. Stay safe out there.